You think you were born to be liked, that your worth, your value, your very existence must be measured by how others see you. The truth, you weren't born to be liked, you were born to become, to live in a way that transcends approval. And when you realize this, when you stop chasing the fleeting shadow of other people's opinions, you step into the power you've always had, but were too afraid to embrace. From the moment we are born, we are thrust into a world that tells us how we should be, how we should look, how we should act, how we should think. We are conditioned to crave validation, to thirst for approval. The world, your family, your friends, your colleagues, society at large, all want you to fit into their mold, to serve their needs, to perform for their eyes. They want you to be palatable, to be pleasing, to make them feel comfortable. But here's the truth that no one will tell you. You're not here to be liked. This obsession with being liked is a prison, and it traps you in chains you cannot see. These chains are forged by your own hands. Every time you silence yourself to make others comfortable, you strengthen the bars of your cage. Every time you tell yourself you can't speak your truth because someone might not approve, you tighten the grip of that invisible force that keeps you from your true self. In the world of men and women who seek only approval, few find the courage to stand apart, to stand alone. But those who do, those who dare to walk the road less traveled, they find something beyond approval. They find freedom. It's time to step away from the herd, because the truth you need to hear is this: you were never meant to fit in. The world's idea of success, of happiness, is a mirage. The constant chase for likes, for recognition, for approval is nothing more than a reflection of your own insecurities. And when you live your life seeking validation, you're feeding those insecurities. You're perpetuating the lie that your worth is something you have to earn from others. The irony is, those who are most loved, most admired, are often the ones who care least about being liked. Think about the people who inspire you, the ones who command respect, not by playing the game of popularity, but by standing firm in who they are. Those are the people who seem to radiate a kind of power, a force, that has nothing to do with pleasing others. It has everything to do with knowing who they are. They are the ones who have shed the need to be liked. Take a look at the great minds throughout history. Nietzsche, who proclaimed that the masses were sheep, that true greatness came from those who stood alone and embraced the struggle. Take a look at Carl Jung, who warned against the dangers of the collective unconscious and the suffocating influence of society's expectations. These men, these thinkers, were not loved by the masses. They were misunderstood. But they knew something the rest of the world didn't. They knew that greatness doesn't come from seeking to be liked. It comes from seeking to be authentic. The moment you stop worrying about how others see you, you step into a realm where the world cannot touch you. They can judge you, criticize you, even mock you, but their words will fall off you like water off a duck's back. You will no longer be tethered to their opinions. You will be free to do what others are too afraid to do, live your life according to your own values, your own standards. But how do you break free from this need for approval? How do you silence the voices that say you're not good enough, not worthy, not loved, unless you conform? The first step is awareness. Understanding that the need to be liked is not your true desire, but a symptom of deeper fears. Fears of rejection, fear of not being enough. These fears are not yours by nature. They were implanted in you by the world. It's time to peel back the layers, to go deeper into your own psyche, to discover the truth that lies beneath the surface. The truth that you are already enough. You have always been enough. The second step is letting go. Let go of the idea that you have to prove yourself. Let go of the compulsion to seek validation. Let go of the belief that your worth is tied to how others perceive you. When you let go of this, you are left with something profound. a sense of self that cannot be shaken by the winds of opinion. You are no longer at the mercy of external forces. You become your own anchor, your own guide, your own measure of success. And when you let go of the need to be liked, you embrace something far more powerful: authenticity. You step into the arena of your own life as your truest self, without apology. And in that space, something magical happens. You begin to attract those who resonate with your truth. You attract people who respect you not because you've conformed to their expectations, but because you've dared to be yourself. And those people, the ones who love you for who you truly are, they will be the ones who matter. But be warned, this path is not easy. It is not for the faint of heart. To live a life free from the need to be liked requires immense courage. It requires standing in your power, even when the world tells you to shrink. It requires embracing discomfort, knowing that the only way to grow is through the fire of self-examination and self-discovery. It requires being willing to lose people, relationships, even entire communities, because you choose yourself over their approval. But if you choose this path, if you choose to stop living for others and start living for yourself, you will experience a kind of freedom that most people will never know. You will be free to express yourself fully, to pursue your passions without hesitation, to make decisions that align with your deepest truths, not with the desires of others. You're not here to be liked. You're here to be real, to be unapologetically, fiercely, and relentlessly real. The world will try to mold you, to shape you into something it can digest, something it can accept. But do not give in. The true power of your life lies in your ability to be authentic, to live in alignment with your deepest self, regardless of what others think. So stop seeking approval. Stop bending yourself into shapes that make others comfortable. It's time to stand tall, to speak your truth, to live your life according to your own terms. Let them talk. Let them judge. Because at the end of the day, their opinions will not define you. Only you have the power to define who you are. And when you live like that, when you live as a true expression of who you are, you will discover that the world begins to change around you. People will start to respect you, not because you've played the game, but because you've dared to break free of it. And in the end, you will realize that the greatest approval you'll ever need is your own. So stop trying to be liked. Start being who you are. And watch as the world begins to align with your authenticity, with your truth. Because the moment you stop living for others, you start living for yourself. And that is when life becomes truly yours. You weren't born to be liked. You were born to be free. And now is the time to step into that freedom, to live as your true self, without apology, without hesitation, and without fear. This is your moment, your time. Don't waste it trying to be liked. Instead, spend it becoming the person you were always meant to be. Because when you do, you will realize that you've been liked all along. By the one person whose opinion matters most, you. You see, the need to be liked is a lie we tell ourselves to mask our deepest fear. The fear of being alone, the fear of rejection, the fear of standing apart from the crowd. And yet, it is in that very solitude, in that very rejection, that you find your true power. When you remove the need for external validation, you step into your own sovereignty. You become your own guide, your own compass, your own source of strength. What's truly terrifying for most people isn't the thought of being disliked, it's the fear of truly being seen. The fear of showing the world who you really are, of exposing your raw, unfiltered self. The vulnerability that comes with this is a fear so powerful, it's often easier to live a lie, to be what others want you to be, than to face the discomfort of standing in your own truth. But this is where the magic happens. When you stop hiding, when you stop pretending, when you let go of the armor you've built to protect yourself from judgment, something extraordinary begins to unfold. You stop living a life of contradiction. You stop splitting yourself into pieces to fit the expectations of others. Instead, you become whole. integrated, at peace with who you are. That peace, it's a quiet but fierce power, a power that radiates from within, unaffected by the approval or disapproval of others. This peace comes from the recognition that your worth doesn't depend on whether or not people like you. Your worth is inherent, unshakable, and independent of the whims of the world. Think of the greatest leaders in history, not the ones who were popular, but the ones who were radical in their thinking, who defied the norms, who challenged the status quo. Think of men like Socrates, who was sentenced to death for his ideas, or the great women who fought for justice, who were shunned, ostracized, even vilified. These individuals didn't rise to prominence by conforming to the expectations of others. They didn't earn their greatness by seeking to be liked. They earned it through their conviction, their authenticity, their unwillingness to compromise on who they were. It's easy to look at their lives now, after they've become icons, and think that they had it easy, that their greatness was inevitable. But the truth is, in their time, they were outcasts, rebels, misunderstood souls. They paid the price for their authenticity. They were ridiculed, they were shunned, they were not liked, but they were respected, they were revered, because their lives were a living testament to the power of standing firm in who you are, regardless of the consequences. This is the paradox of life. When you stop trying to be liked, you become infinitely more powerful, because the moment you stop chasing approval, you free yourself from the shackles of dependency. You realize that you don't need anyone's permission to be yourself. You don't need anyone's approval to walk your path. And in that freedom, you begin to create something far more valuable, authentic connections. It's true, not everyone will like you. But here's the beautiful truth. The people who don't like you weren't meant to be in your life. And the people who do like you, the ones who resonate with your true self, with your authenticity, those are the people who matter. And those people, they will respect you not for your ability to conform, but for your courage to be real, even when it's uncomfortable. They will admire you for your strength, not because you fit into their mold, but because you stand apart from it. When you stop living for others, you create space for real relationships to flourish. Relationships that are based not on superficialities, but on shared values, mutual respect, and a deep understanding of who you are. These are the relationships that nourish you, that lift you, that empower you to become the person you are meant to be. But this requires a level of courage that most people will never understand. It requires a willingness to stand alone when the world tells you to fit in. It requires a faith in yourself that goes beyond the external noise, beyond the judgments of others. It requires the strength to be vulnerable, to show the world who you really are, and to trust that those who truly matter will see you, understand you, and appreciate you for it. Because the truth is, the only person whose approval you need is your own. The moment you stop seeking validation from others, you start creating a life that's fully your own. A life that's aligned with your deepest values, your truest desires, your highest potential, and in that life you will find not only success, but peace. The kind of peace that comes from knowing that you are enough, just as you are, with no need for external validation. This doesn't mean you stop caring about others. It doesn't mean you become indifferent, cold, or distant. It means you stop letting other people's opinions dictate your worth. You stop letting their judgments define who you are. You stop giving them the power to determine your value. When you live for yourself, when you create a life that's rooted in your own authenticity, you will find that the world begins to shift. People will start showing up in your life who are aligned with your energy, your vision, your truth. These are the people who will support you, challenge you, and help you grow. They will love you not because you're trying to be something you're not, but because you are unapologetically, authentically, undeniably you. And those who don't like you, let them go. Let them have their opinions. Let them judge, because their opinions do not define you. And the moment you realize that, the moment you stop seeking their approval, is the moment you step into the most powerful version of yourself. The moment you stop living for the likes, the applause, the validation, and start living for the truth of who you are, is the moment you begin to live the life you were always meant to live. You are not here to be liked. You are here to be real, to be bold, to be unapologetically yourself. And in that truth, you will find a freedom that is beyond what any approval could ever offer. So stop seeking the approval of others. Stop conforming to the expectations of the world. Start living for yourself. And in doing so, you will discover that the life you've been longing for was always within you, waiting to be lived, waiting to be claimed. You don't need anyone's permission. You don't need anyone's approval. You just need to be. And when you do, the world will begin to see you, not for what you do for them, but for who you truly are. And in that, you will discover that you were never meant to be liked, you were meant to be free. And that, my friend, is the ultimate form of power. Now, it's time to stop chasing approval and start living for yourself. Because when you do, everything changes. When you truly stop chasing approval, you enter into a realm where your life no longer feels like it's subject to the whims of others. You see, the act of seeking validation is a form of self-betrayal. It's as if you're handing your power over to someone else, waiting for them to tell you you're worthy, to tell you you're enough. But here's the brutal truth. You were always worthy. Your worth was never dependent on the fleeting judgments of others. It's been within you, quietly waiting, the entire time. The external world cannot give you the peace you seek. The applause, the recognition, the praise, they are all temporary. They come and go like the tides, and they are as unpredictable as the wind. But there is a peace, a kind of unshakable calm that comes from within. A peace that does not depend on being liked, on being validated, on being seen in the way the world demands. This peace is rooted in the acceptance of who you truly are, without compromise, without apology. And when you come to know this peace, you will realize that no external force can ever take it from you. Now, that's not to say you stop caring altogether. No, you will still care. But you will care in a way that is healthier, in a way that is rooted in self-respect, not desperation for approval. You will care about the people who truly matter, those whose opinions are grounded in love and understanding. You will care about the people who challenge you, who push you to grow, who inspire you to be better, not because they want you to be something you're not, but because they see the potential in you, the truth of who you are. But here's the thing, most people won't understand this shift. Most people won't get it. And that's okay. The moment you begin to stop seeking the approval of others, you begin to separate yourself from the crowd. You begin to walk a different path, a path that is yours and yours alone. And as you continue down this path, you will find that those who can't understand you, those who want to keep you in their box, will begin to drift away. And that's another beautiful truth. You let them go. You will no longer feel the need to convince them. You will no longer waste your energy trying to fit yourself into a mold that wasn't made for you. Let them go. They are not your people. The people who truly resonate with you, who see you for the depths of who you are, they will remain. And they will be the ones who will walk beside you as you continue to rise. The path of authenticity is a path of solitude, but it is also a path of power. And when you step into that power, you will start to notice something amazing. You attract exactly what you need. You attract the right opportunities, the right people, the right circumstances. Because when you are true to yourself, you begin to align with the forces of the universe, with the very energy that draws success and fulfillment toward you. And there is something beautiful about this alignment. When you stop trying to be liked, you begin to move in harmony with your purpose. You start to see the world not as a place where you must struggle for approval, but as a place where you can create from your own authenticity. You begin to see every challenge as an opportunity to grow, to test your resilience, to deepen your understanding of who you are and what you're capable of. The obstacles that once seemed insurmountable are no longer terrifying. They become stepping stones. You start to move with a quiet confidence because you know that you are the one in control, not the world, not the opinions of others. You. When you step into this authenticity, you will begin to understand something profoundly liberating. You are not here to please others. You are here to live your life, to create your legacy, to walk your path free from the chains of other people's expectations. And when you stop living for the approval of others, when you stop shrinking to make others comfortable, you begin to build a life that's uniquely yours. A life that is expansive, fulfilling, and truly meaningful. But this takes time. It takes patience. It takes persistence. The old patterns, the old habits of seeking approval, of contorting yourself to fit someone else's vision of who you should be, they don't disappear overnight. They are deeply embedded in the psyche, shaped by years of conditioning. And so the journey to authenticity, to living without the need for validation, is not an easy one. It is a battle against the voices in your head that tell you you're not enough, a battle against the world that tells you to conform, a battle against the fear of being alone. But this battle is worth fighting, because in the end, it is only when you confront those fears head on that you discover the freedom that lies on the other side. When you shed the weight of other people's opinions, you step into your full power. You become an unstoppable force, and the world will not be able to ignore you. And here's the most remarkable part. The more you live authentically, the more you will find that you start to attract the things you've always wanted. Not because you're trying to chase them, not because you're desperately seeking approval, but because you are aligned with your purpose. You will no longer be running after things that don't serve you. You will begin to attract opportunities, people, and experiences that resonate with your true self. The paradox is this. The moment you stop chasing approval, you begin to receive everything you've ever wanted. Not from a place of need or desperation, but from a place of abundance. The abundance that comes from living a life true to who you are, from shedding the need for external validation, and from embracing your own worth and power. It's not about being liked, it's about being real, being raw, being you. And when you stand in that power, when you embody that truth, the world will take notice. And the right people, the ones who resonate with your authenticity, will come into your life. The ones who will love you, respect you, and support you, not because of who you pretend to be, but because of who you truly are. So I urge you to let go. Let go of the need to be liked. Let go of the fear of rejection. Let go of the chains that have kept you bound to the approval of others. Step into your own power. Step into the person you were always meant to be. And watch as the world begins to align itself with your truth. You were never here to be liked. You were here to be free. And that freedom, that power, it starts the moment you stop living for others and start living for yourself. And so, you stand at the threshold of a profound transformation, one that begins the moment you decide to stop living for others. You stand at the crossroads of your life, and you can either choose to continue down the path of seeking validation, contorting yourself to meet the world's demands, or you can step into the powerful, unapologetic truth of who you truly are. The choice is yours. And it is the most important choice you will ever make. Understand this. The world will never tell you who you are. The world will never define your worth. The world will try to shape you into a version of yourself that fits its narrative. But that version is not the real you. The real you is wild, untamed, free from the chains of others' expectations. The real you has power, has strength, has everything it needs to create a life of true significance. And that life, it is not built on likes or praise or the empty applause of those who would have you shrink into a version of yourself that pleases them. that life is built on the courage to stand tall, to speak your truth, and to walk your path no matter how lonely, no matter how difficult. You are not here to fit in, you are not here to blend into the crowd. You are here to stand apart, to carve out your own space in this world, and to live with such authenticity that you cannot help but attract everything that's meant for you. The world will resist you at first. It will push back against your strengths, your boldness, your refusal to conform. But that resistance, it's a sign that you're doing something right. The more they push, the more you push back until you break through. And on the other side of that struggle, a life that is yours. A life lived on your terms, with your values, your vision, your truth. Now, imagine the life you could create if you stopped caring about the approval of others. Imagine what you could do if you were free from the burden of people-pleasing. Imagine a life where you are free to make bold decisions, to take risks, to pursue your dreams without fear of judgment. A life where you wake up every day knowing that you are enough, not because of anyone's approval, but because you decided that you are. You decided that your worth is not determined by anyone but yourself. That life is possible. That life is within your grasp. All it takes is the courage to stop seeking external validation and start living for yourself. To embrace the power that comes with being real, with being authentic. And once you step into that power, once you embrace that truth, you will find that the world begins to shift around you. It will start to reflect your inner strengths, your clarity, and your unwavering belief in your own worth. But no, this path will challenge you. It will test you. It will demand that you rise to a level of greatness that you may not yet believe is within you. And yet, that greatness is already there. It's always been there. All you need to do is stop hiding it. Stop pretending to be something you're not, and start showing up as the real you, unfiltered, unapologetic, and unapologetically powerful. So, today, right now, make the decision to stop seeking approval. Make the decision to stop shrinking, to make others comfortable. Make the decision to stand tall in the fullness of who you are. Because the moment you stop living for others, you will unlock the potential within you that has been waiting to be unleashed. You will tap into a force that will carry you through any obstacle, any challenge, any doubt. And when that moment comes, when you stand fully in your own power, unapologetically yourself, you will realize something extraordinary. You never needed anyone's approval in the first place. Your worth has never been in question. Your greatness has never been in doubt. You have always been enough. And now you will live the life that reflects that truth. This is your moment. This is your time. Step into your power. Step into your truth. Stop chasing approval. Start living for yourself. And when you do, you will find that the world begins to align with your truth, with your authenticity, and with your unapologetic freedom. You were never here to be liked. You were born to be free. And the moment you accept that, the moment you choose to stand in your own power, the world will open up to you in ways you never imagined. So, I ask you, will you step into that power? Will you rise above the noise of approval and judgment? Will you live for yourself unapologetically and boldly? The choice is yours. And when you make it, you will realize that in the end, you were never here to be liked. You were here to be free. And freedom, that is where true power lies. And with that power, you can create anything. You can do anything. You can be anything.